So on that wonderful note, let's begin the first panel discussion of the day on the topic Marketing for Success, Real Estate Future Roadmap. The session will be chaired by Mr. Sunil Mishra, Chief Strategy, Anurag Group, and CEO, Trespect. Trespect is Anurag's pan-India B2C open market residential broking business, and Sunil Mishra has 25 years of experience in building businesses across real estate, telecom industry, BFSI, and online startups. His experience spans various fields like sales and marketing, private equity, management consulting, and business analysis. So a very warm welcome to our moderator of the session, Mr. Sunil Mishra. Let me also introduce our eminent speakers in an alphabetical order. I welcome J.R. Chandani, Director Marketing, Pacifica Companies. Now, Jay has been instrumental in the development and implementation of marketing strategy at Pacifica Companies, and the company has been able to spread its brand proposition and communications in India as a result of his creativity and development skills. In the last 14 years, Jay has also been involved in retail leasing as well as strategic planning of sales activities of the company. Our next eminent panel member is Mr. Rajiv Dash. He is the Head Sales and Marketing SD Corp Shapoorji Group. A marketing and sales professional with FMCG and consumer research background, Rajiv Dash has been involved in building brands through innovative marketing and sales approaches. He was previously with Tata Housing for more than 11 years and with AC Nielsen handling the FMCG brand and UB Group earlier. His ambition is to create brands through innovations with better consumer understanding. And he has been strongly involved in brand marketing, lead generation, sales strategy execution, product development, including marketing research. Let me introduce our next very eminent panel member, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Jariwal, Media Marketing at Prestige Estates Projects Limited. With over 3 decades of extensive experience, Sanjay Jariwal is deft in managing profit center, that is advertising, including setting up the entire division, developing teams, budgeting revenue targets, and ensuring adherence to the same. PR and communication strategy as well. He's part of corporate communication in Prestige Estates Projects Limited, handling traditional and non-traditional media for last 8 years. He has qualitative experience in designing and implementing marketing plans to accelerate sales and business growth. This includes negotiating with the print, radio, cinema, TV channels, outdoor, and digital media. So a very eminent panel member here we have. Our next speaker on this session is Mr. Smarjit Mishra, Head Strategy and Marketing, Residential, Brigade Enterprises Limited. Smarjit has been in the real estate space since the past decade and has been instrumental in scaling up the business in the organization he has worked with. He has been associated with the Brigade Group for over 4 years and looks after the strategy and marketing initiatives for the residential business. He has worked with his team on various award-winning campaigns and has been part of the organization's growth story, which has seen it scale up to be consistently in the top 5 nationally in terms of areas sold in the past few years. Our next panel member, let me introduce Ms. Sukanya Das Gupta, Director Marketing and Communications at Colliers. Now, Sukanya has more than 14 years of domain experience with expertise in developing media strategies and relations, brand building, corporate communications, including crisis communications, social media, and digital platforms with strategies that differentiate brands. She has a keen interest in digital media development plans and has spearheaded the communication and brand strategies to enhance Colliers India's share of voice on digital platforms. She has worked in the field of real estate, consulting, retail, food education, and hospitality in her vast career. Our next and final member of this panel, I introduce Mr. Sumit Chunkare, Chief Marketing Officer, Sobha Limited. Sumit has over 15 years of experience across FMCG, fintech, and real estate industries. He has worked with reputed companies like ITC Limited, Bayer, and Lodha Group before joining Sobha in November 2019. He holds an MBA in Marketing and Finance from Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow, and a Bachelor of Commerce from R.F. Modha College, University of Mumbai. So this was our eminent panel, and I now hand it over to our moderator to please take over the proceeding.
Thanks, Sapna, for that gracious and slightly exaggerated introduction for me, at least. But believe me, it always works. So well done. Happy to be moderating this session with an excellent panel of practitioners of the art of marketing and sales in our gradually strengthening real estate industry. Since I have got control of the mic now, I shall start off with a short interpretation of the status of sales and marketing in Indian real estate. But on a serious note, since the topic of the session is real estate future roadmap, most of the speakers here have been requested to try to also dwell upon the shape of things to come. So I shall take the luxury of setting the context and a bit of the past for real estate sales and marketing, because most of the discussion is going to happen for the future. So real estate sales and marketing, like in most of the other sectors, has been learning to thrive under the overarching influence of two sets of interventions. One is technology and the second is regulations. So on the tech side, the internet, World Wide Web in 1995, search engines from beginning of this millennium, the smartphone in 2007, and finally social media marketing of late have changed marketing and even sales of late in unimaginable ways. Before all this, our practice kit was the Philip Kotlerian STP4P, if some of you remember, and some of you youngsters should forgive us, where we used to segment the market, choose the target segments to focus on, develop a positioning statement for each segment, and then develop the 4P marketing mix for each segment. The principles may remain similar even now, but every marketer today needs to personally have sat on the Facebook panel, understood Google bidding, and needs to know the questions to ask to be able to ensure that the correct customers are being targeted. A bigger point is the change of role of the marketer. And I was sort of listening pretty intently to what Dr. Batra was saying on how marketing is sort of the fulcrum and how it's changed. The role of the change of role is from being more brand heavy to being more acquisition heavy. And I'm not sure if all of you sort of agree with this, but that's what I've been seeing. With the demand generation becoming more and more online progressively with each year, with CRMs and LMSs, the lead management systems, making it smarter to track the end-to-end funnel. Marketing has increasingly become more about funnel tracking and identifying reasons for revenue leakages and supporting sales more strongly than ever before. Possibly going forward with AI/ML-driven algorithm for lead scoring, identifying false negatives, I think the marketer will have to continuously adjust their toolkit again and dig oneself deeper in the value chain to be able to add value. So on the regulatory and structural side, which is the second set of interventions, there have been three big ones which come to my mind. RERA, consolidation of the developer space, and a lot of big boys are sitting on this panel. Consolidation of the intermediary space. So these are three interventions which I could think about which impacted marketing. RERA thankfully makes everything transparent, defines the railroads for communication content, and prevents unnecessary creativity on our part. So the consolidation industry, which I spoke about, the big boys raises the bar with the bigger guys fighting harder to get an elusive market share, and channel getting stronger with mega players emerging there too. So that's a sort of a not so quick background of what's happened. There's a longish PhD type treatise on real estate sales and marketing, on which, by the way, I can speak for an hour. But I shall set the ball rolling, get the views of the smarter people on this group. I've just now scribbled down a bunch of topics. I shall be requesting 3 to 4 of our panelists to speak on each topic, so that we get to hear sort of comments from different geographies and different types of panelists. So with your permission, if I may start. All the panelists here, as I'm seeing across the screen, are leading the marketing and perhaps the sales functions with real estate developing companies. Sukanya is the only one here from the advisory and intermediary space, in addition to me. So the topics where we'll ask her to step in a little more strategic and overarching. Sukanya, if it's fine, in fact, I shall start off with you so that the flow of the context which I built up continues with you. Just wanted you to chip in with your views on like how have marketeers adopted technology and the new age platforms to aid enterprises? If you could just share your views.
Sure. Thank you, Sunil. And first of all, I'd like to thank the Realty Plus group, Tripti, Sapna, with whom I work so closely. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm just honored to be with such real estate industry stalwarts in the marketing domain. So Sunil, very interesting question. And I firmly believe that, even before we adopted technology, I think technology adopted us by making inroads into every aspect of our lives. The technology has changed the way we consume data, the way we interact today, and how businesses function to become more productive and successful. The best example, and I think the most recent one, is the pandemic, where the businesses that were most agile and quickest to adopt marketing platforms, digital initiatives, were the ones that came out of this challenging time the most unscathed, I would say. I think all marketers have gone back to the drawing board in the last 2 years, to ensure that as marketers, we continue to lead and innovate with marketing. It's all about innovation today. Brands are transforming like never before. The industry itself is witnessing a paradigm shift from one to many communication that defines traditional media, where consumers were just passive receivers of information. It's changed completely. There's new age media, social media, search engine optimization, marketing and mobile command a very high share of time spent by consumers on this media. So I would say enterprises have had to relook at their spend and their presence. There's a 360-degree change. The agility of the new age media itself enables, almost real-time promotion management. There's agility, nimble and cost-effective content sharing on social media, blogs, podcasts, where we find our clients, where we find our future talent, the millennials. And I think it's become extremely key for marketers to rethink and innovate. And I think my, the other esteemed panelists can comment more on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sukanya. Nuggets were just sort of pouring in. Even before we adopted technology adopted us. It's all about innovation. COVID has accelerated digitalization, agility, like 3-4 big aspects coming out. Thanks a lot for that, Sukanya. Coming to a few more mainstream marketing topics, since there are 3 Bangalore-based developers I can see on the screen, 1 Mumbai-based, 1 Ahmedabad-based, I shall try to distribute the questions across the field to get some response from different markets as well. So shall start off with requesting 3 of the speakers, say Rajiv, Jay, and Sanjay, not in their order, to give their views on the first topic, which I wanted to start off with sort of a conventional question on the proportion of offline ATL to digital marketing in the total marketing mix. Have you seen this reducing each year much rapidly than ever before? What would be the rough percentage mix for your marketing mix between offline and digital? How has it changed in the last 2-3 years? And most importantly, finally, what do you see, where is it going in the next 2-3 years? The mix between offline and digital. Rajiv, Jay, and Sanjay. Rajiv, you want to start off?
So, Sunil, good afternoon to all. Just to start with, if you see, yes, there is a dramatic change that has happened in terms of the marketing plan. So if you see what we used to see ATL, offline ATL being the major chunk in the marketing budget. But in last 1 year, 1.5 years back, you see the shift is happening to digital space. So if you ask me, when we started doing some bit of digital, when I was in Tata Housing, we did a project launch in Goa through Facebook, and that was 6 years back. And that was the time that we were very successful. The project launch happened. We sold a good number of units, price premium, everything happened. And that was 6 years back. And it was a great success because it was Facebook and Tata coming together to big brands. So that time when we were talking about digital, it was only limited to few brands that people can trust. So if it is an A-grade developer, it has a good brand name, the credibility is there, then people used to go for online buying, or at least giving the UIs online, if not the entire process of buying online, but the UI process was there. So that was 6 years back. But if you see last 1 or 2 years, there is dramatic change. As in, it's not only the brand, but a lot of A-grade developers, good developers, they are doing good amount of digital sale. In terms of lead generation, there are 2 parts to it. When you say digital sales, there are 2 parts. One is the lead generation, and second thing is bookings. But if you ask me today, lead generation, yes, for us at least, what I have seen, 70% of our lead generation happens through digital medium. 70%, where that 70% in terms of cost will be around 40% of my total marketing spends. But I'm getting with 40% of marketing spends, I'm getting 70% of leads. So that is the one equation. The second equation, are they getting into the booking stage? Yes, they're getting into the booking stage, but not as expected if you see other categories. So your bookings are not so many as digital conversion ratio, whereas if you see my channel partner, the conversion ratio is maximum. So if I have to give a number, if my channel partner gets me a lead and a walk-in, my conversion ratio will be in double digit, around 10 to 12% today in the today market context. But if it's a digital lead, my conversion ratio will be in the range of 4 to 5%. But the number of leads that you get, that covers up for the number of sales that you do. Because you get 70% of leads, 70% of walk-ins to digital. So that covers up the entire booking process or your booking sales. Also, the cost gets minimized because a digital lead, if you convert also at 5%, 6%, your cost per sale is much less as compared to any other medium. So if you, just to sum it up, it's 70% of lead that comes from digital. There's dramatic shift in the consumer mindset. Today, consumer is doing a lot of research on digital medium. They are also getting into the second part that I wanted to say about digital medium when it comes to consumer and consumer insight generation. The influential groups, if it is a forums, the influential groups are creating a lot of buzz in the market. So if you think about, if I have to do a segment, a forum or a podcast, those are the new things which are coming up in real estate. A podcast, if I can do in a Clubhouse kind of mobile app and to a selected medium and a selected niche group, then I think that's going to be the future in terms of doing podcast and getting through influential segments and forums, blogging. Those are the things which are catching up. And that is where I think that's the part where the consumers are getting also influenced. That if they see the brand in different forums and talking about real estate, which is a serious category, then the consumer also gets influenced by that kind of branding or brand awareness, and that gets into lead generation. So there are two parts within digital, which is brand awareness, branding, then the lead generation. So it used to be, as in 2 years back, if you see that 100% of digital used to be 70 to 80% brand, which is the brand awareness, and 20 to 30% used to be performance, which is the lead generation. But today it's the other way around. Today, the most of the brands are only spending 20 to 30% of the digital spends on brand creation or brand awareness built up. The 70% they're putting it in performance lead generation process. So that is a shift which has happened, which is a dramatic shift in terms of consumer insight generation and also consumer skewness towards digital medium.
Got it. Great. Fantastic. These are sort of numbers worth its weight in gold. So 60-40 breakup in spends, but 70% in numbers coming from digital. But the nuanced difference between performance marketing and brand building, which Rajiv built towards the end, was the crux of how he's using it. Jay, you want to carry on and try to match up with what Rajiv just sort of explained?
Wise word indeed. Since a while, we've been gung-ho about digital, mainly because as marketers, what are we trying to do? We're trying to reach out to our consumers, reach out to our potential home buyers. So we look for them via billboards, via radio, via other mediums. But then when you go digital, you reach out to everyone. Everyone has a cell phone, everyone has a laptop, everyone's connected. So it gives us the biggest audience that we could have asked for. Also, it's targeted. You can choose your audience. It's engaging. A hoarding cannot be engaging. Well, it can be, but nothing goes to the comparison of digital. And it's tangible. You can actually understand who did you reach out to, who's the ad working on, who's the ad not working on. Those kind of analytics you cannot get with the conventional mediums, which is why I think digital was always going to take the largest share of our marketing budgets. Having said that, I don't think the remaining mediums will die out. I think they'll still all have a place in the sun for them. But I think as time goes on, in fact, even during the pandemic, the people who were already online, all of the people who had their digital virtual tours and their walkthroughs and their websites and online presence in check, a lot of people saw greater sales than the previous year. So yeah, I think digital for us is definitely it's a big game changer, and it's very important.
Excellent. Great, Jay. Thanks. In Ahmedabad market, is the vernacular social media more prevalent in Facebook? Can you just sort of throw 1 minute light on that, please?
So we're actually present in multiple markets. We have big presence in Chennai and Hyderabad and Ahmedabad and Baroda. So across all these markets, I can tell you the vernacular communication does work. It always has a special place.
Sure. Excellent. Great, Jay. Sanjay, you want to cap this first discussion with your experience, please?
Hi, Sunil, and hi, guys. Lovely to be part of Reality Plus as a panelist. Yes, I do agree with what Sunil and Rajiv and Jay had just shared in terms of how digital over and over years is becoming more and more important and critical for all of us. And I personally feel that yes, it could have taken some more time to get more and more spends on digital, but thanks to pandemic, that most of the people or most of the consumer during that time had stopped the traditional media consumption, whether it is to do with the radio or a newspaper, because there was a fear that if I get a newspaper at home, I might get some kind of problems as far as COVID is concerned. So a lot of people had actually stopped consuming even the print media, and obviously that shift happened on consuming the news on phone or on laptop and all those things. That was something which was good for digital, and now, yes, some kind of a percentage has come back onto the print or on radio or on, obviously cinema is still far away, but billboards and all those things, because billboards we were deprived of billboards in Bangalore for almost 2.5 years, but thank God it's coming back now. That's what people say. But the shift has definitely happened towards digital, and we are of the opinion that yes, when you have to specifically target a person who is looking for a house or an apartment or a villa, you can actually pinpoint that guy other than doing a mass kind of a media. And you can, it's not that you have to just speak to him or communicate to him once. The platform has given such great options to us that we can keep on retargeting them till at least they show an interest and all those things. And retargeting can be from multiple sources. You have Google, you have rich media, whether you are on Outbrain or on Taboola or different real estate portals, OTT. So multiple options have come in, and that is one of the reasons that digital is becoming stronger and stronger, especially for real estate. But definitely print, radio, billboards, cinema, which we always do consider, will play a very, very supporting role. It's not that they will go off, but they will be playing a supporting role. And we definitely see a surge whenever we have a communication on a newspaper or on a radio and all those things. So, and the best part is that when it comes to the last minute of a person being communicated about a particular project, and they get to see a billboard or they get to hear a jingle, or on a particular day they get to see an ad and all those things, that's where all the media actually becomes an important. But yes, as everybody said, over a period of time, digital will definitely be having more and more gains.
Excellent, Sanjay. Superb. So digital is clearly increasing trend. The pandemic catalyzed it. You again shared a superb insight on people wary of touching newspapers because of virus, and 4 or 5 months there was no print at all. So there was a bit of a catalyzing towards digital happening. And the last verdict was almost that, hey, both are going to coexist. They have different objectives, different kicks. So superb, great. And guys who are listening to this should remember Rajiv has AC Nielsen experience, and Sanjay comes from a very strong ZTV background and television background. So these guys are dyed in the wool marketeers who are sort of seeing seeing and saying this change of mix. So there is something really happening, and people should keep their ears on the ground. Changing gears a bit, getting the young Turks of marketing drawn into the discussions, Marjit and Sumit, both IML alumni. I don't know if you guys knew each other at that time. So we'll just double click a bit into digital marketing more and sort of just request you to help us out. Like within digital media, there's a Facebook plus Instagram sort of a cloud. There is a Google piece. And there are reality portals, Magic Bricks, 99 Acres, and affiliates. SMSs and emails are still abound. So within these three sort of big blocks of digital marketing, have you been finding which of these are you finding more effective for demand generation? Is there a typical mix of these three that you track? And finally, for the future, do you think one of these three types of media will overtake the other two in coming years and become the dominant source? Smarjit, you want to start off first since you are younger, and then Sumit can take over.
Great to have this discussion facilitated, Sunil. So thank you, and thank you to the entire Realty Plus team to have us over here. And yes, a lot of thought-provoking discussions which have already been initiated. And what I would like to actually specifically mention, and I think I echo a lot of digital marketeers' mindset, is that 2020 actually has been a purple patch of sorts for digital marketing, because the kind of cost per lead, the CPL, which is one of the parameters, and of course the cost per booking, were actually at unheard of lows. Because what had happened was, at the advent of, just when this entire lockdown period was initiated, Sanjay spoke about how newspapers and all people immediately were very reactive, and they they actually just signed off, they plugged off whatever they could. So out went the newspapers, maybe radio channels, because there were no one on the roads and all. But it actually created a huge amount of burden back on digital, because everyone is at home, everyone is logging in, speaking about the Teams calls. In fact, one of the dialogues said that "Can you hear me?" was the most cited line of 2020. So all of that actually created a unique opportunity, which I think many of the major developers latched on to really go deep in terms of the digital bit. So just to cite an example, we were able to generate leads at a low of as low as 350 rupees, which in my last 10 years of being in the sector, I have never seen before. So it just opened up an opportunity. And while we believe in aggregator portals, the Magic Bricks, the 99 Acres and all, and in frequent interactions which I had with their leadership team in Q1 and Q2, I went back that maybe this is the time when you actually don't try to innovate too much, because there is an opportunity. Everyone else is backed out. Channel partners were also kind of shying away, because maybe many of their processing, or they were also kind of in a limbo, like figuring out how do we kind of move ahead with it. So Q1 and Q2, personally within the Brigade environment, we actually focus exclusively almost on the neo-traditional channels of Google and the Facebook specifically. What we also realized was that the behavior which was being exhibited by domestic users was slightly different from the users in the NRI markets. So there what we did was we adopted a specific strategy specific for NRIs, and we diverted a part of our channel spends to actually for some of the 99, like all of them also have some NRI specific modules. And we did that mix, which is domestic was Google, Facebook. Aggregators was largely for NRIs in that bit of time. But come Q3, we again started going back to kind of maybe diverting, I would say about maybe up to about 10% of our spend, we started investing into the aggregator piece. And Q1 somehow surprisingly was, because Q1 by the time all these lockdowns restrictions had come in, we had already made some headway. All those invoices were out, all those purchase orders were already received and all. So we did a bit of aggregators, but now is when we are looking at scaling it back up. But the other important difference which we saw this time around was a lot many more developers and channel partners were active in this in 2021, the lockdown phase, as compared to last year. So which is where we actually ended up becoming a little more spread out when it comes to our spends, because Google, Facebook, and all was maybe at an 80% levels of Q3 and Q4, but it wasn't down to 25-30% of the previous years. So
this is superb insights and data. So well done. One smart insight which I hope you guys got was a difference in behavior between domestic and NRIs, and hence a different media mix. It's logical, but Smarjit of course found that and implemented that. Well done, Smarjit. And so looks like all three are going to sort of exist, and the mix will change depending upon possibly the type of projects being sold, the type of customers that you are marketing to, and you will use your monies fungibly across these three. Well done. Sumit, do you want to pick up from where Smarjit left and add your dollar, and then you can talk on entire topic as well. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Sunil, for bringing me in, and thanks to Reality Plus for making me a part of this elite panel group. So I completely agree with what Smarjit said, and what other panelists also said before me, that certainly the digital marketing has seen a paradigm shift, particularly in the past 15 years or so, since the advent of Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, so on and so forth. I still fondly remember that when I used to do my MBA course, there was not a single course on digital marketing, because though Google still existed, but Facebook was not even born at that time. But look at the way now they have changed the whole game, the way the marketing is being adopted not only in India but globally. And particularly restricting my comment to the past 2 years, no doubt it has changed the way everybody thinks, and the way the marketeers are promoting their products. Coming back to your question, that out of these three, like Facebook, Google, and reality portals, these are the areas where primarily the lion's share of investment is primarily being invested right now. And to understand that which has been more efficient so far, I would say that the best way would be to look at the returns that you are getting from these kind of investments across the channels. I would say that every medium has a different and distinct role to play, right? Depending upon what phase of product life cycle your project is in, whether you're looking for brand awareness or for lead generation, so on and so forth. And as Rajiv said, that now the shift has happened, that instead of focusing more on brand awareness, people are spending more time, effort, and energy behind lead generation, which is nothing but efficient funnel management. And if I restrict my view on that, I would say that Facebook and Google, from the promoters, from the sellers' point of view, I would rate them a little bit a notch above than the reality portals, because I find that from customers' point of view, reality portals might be a better returns, because they would find a lot of products amongst different categories under one roof. But if I can measure that, and what makes digital marketing more interesting is the sheer and the phenomenal reach that you get, and the ability to calculate your returns very quickly, that how you have been getting the refunds. In fact, the way I do it and my team does it here, we keep a close watch on every day, that how much we have been spending on CPL, and going a step ahead on CPQL, the cost per qualified leads. So therefore, if I look at lead generation, I would say definitely a lot of quantum of lead comes from Facebook, but it has its own challenges of having a restrictions on the quality. But Google, certainly, if I look at the overall spectrum of Google, like your search, display, search engine optimization brings in a lot of quality, but the quantum takes a little bit of beating if I compare it with Facebook. So that's where I would rate, if I have to rate between these three channels. As far as ballpark spend figures are concerned, I would say between them, 60 to 65% would still go in Facebook. Around 30-35% would be on Google. I'm talking from the lead generation point of view right now. Brand awareness would be the different figures, right? And the balance remaining, whatever 10-15% is, in the listings of property portals. And my belief would be that, more or less the surfing habits of customers would remain stable what it is right now, until, something really disruptive comes across and, offers a better ROI compared to Facebook and Google.
And Sumit, fully loaded with data and stats, and hope everyone, all the listeners are catching on to that. So 60-30-10, Facebook, Google affiliates, roughly. Again, it's a function of the project, so there is no one size fits all. The return on marketing spend. So Sumit, do you guys track CPSV and CPB as well? Because finally that's after CPQL.
You're absolutely right. The most efficient way of funnel management is tracking it, in fact, right up till cost per closures. and as somebody rightly said that, channel partners, the costs are very different, because that's a very different ball game. So I'm not comparing it with them. But when I look at marketing spectrum, certainly we track right from the CPL level and right down up till the cost per closure, at various phases across different channels.
Sunil, I just want to add one point. Sunil, if I can add. Sunil, when you see whether it's a mainline digital medium or affiliates, I think most of the things depends upon the segment. Is it affordable segment that you want to sell, or a premium or a luxury segment? So if I have to think through the luxury premium segment, they may not choose to be in the affiliates, which is a classified section. So they may get into the niche segment of search or a Facebook segment. So if I have to think about Bombay, if it's less than 1.5 crore, my digital medium skewness will be towards affiliates. But if it is more than 1.5 crore or 2 crore, then my skewness goes completely to the mainline deliverables. So it's purely the segment part. And the second part that Sunil, I wanted to touch upon, the customer. When you think about the end user, today it's an end user. The customer is looking for experience, whether it's offline or online, wherever you do it, customer is purely looking for experience. So it's up to the marketer how you create a good experience. If it is digital medium, we need to think about creating good experience, maybe the same that we create at the site. So our sites, different terms have been used: experience lounge, experience views. So we need to see that how to replicate that offline experience to digital experience through different proptechs. I think you are the master of proptechs. So if you think today proptechs are helping us to create that experience, and if you can create that experience in the digital medium, then I think the lead conversion ratio goes up. So today customer is purely looking for, give me the experience. Whether it's offline, online, if you give me the experience, I'll go and at least I'll put a lead or I'll go to the site. So that's the second point that I wanted to say.
Super, Rajiv. Again, super nuggets, the experience aspect superimposed on the map there. And the first point was a sort of a reiteration of or a reinforcing of Sumit's point on the cost per booking, because if it's a lower cost ticket size, affiliates can sort of target that. Great, moving on. So Sumit was the first marketeer to use the word paradigm shift today. I was waiting for someone to use that, and well done, Sumit. Just takes us back to our marketing days. Moving on a more serious note, taking a step back again, pulling back Sukanya into the discussion. Sukanya, so what do you think overall as marketeers, like how have we enabled our companies to achieve their objectives? Some key strategies around the same. Could you sort of add there, please?
Sure. So Sunil, I think it's pretty evident from this discussion also that, this is the time for measurable marketing, where analytics drive our initiatives, launching a campaign, tracking its success, tweaking the campaign. All this has given the power to marketers to go back to the business with more tangible strategies. What is working, what can work, what is not working, where do we need to slow down a bit, right? So the way that companies and customers, or clients can be customers or consumers, interact with one another, and the way companies are building their brands today has changed completely. The best way in which marketers are supporting businesses, be it the real estate industry or any other industries, by becoming very strong partners for the business. Gone are the times when strategies were made in silos. Today, marketing objectives are very well integrated with the business objectives. I think the top priority for any business today, and I'm just purely speaking from real estate B2B side, it's clients and people. Clients can be customers and consumers for some businesses. People, of course, it's talent. So any campaign that is launched today needs to have a very well justified ROI attached to it. It's all about the ROI. Now, broadly speaking, we can break down, if I can, break down the goals of marketing into, say, 5 main buckets. First, raising brand awareness, which has again witnessed a sea change. It's 80% on digital, say 80-85% on digital today, and I would say probably 15 to 20% on traditional, generating high quality leads for the business. Again, 80-90% of those leads are on social media platforms, because that's how people are, consuming data information. When we grow, third one being growing and maintaining thought leadership, which is again happening via new mediums, whether it's webinars, blogs, podcasts being the quickest way to create or position thought leadership today, to increase value for our clients and to empower our people to become brand ambassadors. And again, 70-80% of those are on our digital mediums. People are hooked on to a particular way, in which they consume information. So I think it is very clear. Marketing has the most significant influence on how a brand is perceived within an organization, outside an organization today. And social and digital mediums are the biggest influencers, whether it's for clients and talent. It's all there. So yeah, that's how I would sum it up. Sunil.
Power-packed and sort of punch with bullet lines. So I'm obviously keying some points on the side, and I couldn't stop keying. Well done. Measurable marketing, brilliant partners for the business, which I think all of us are converts to. And brand building, thought leadership, great sort of point raised there, and empowering the people to become brand ambassadors. I think super, all big areas of work and discussion. Thanks, Sukaina, for summarizing all that succinctly in 2-3 minutes. Plunging back again into changing the ways of sales and marketing and impact of technology, inviting Sumit, Sanjay, and Jay this time to give their views on our favorite topic of virtual selling. So I'll just define that topic a bit. So how has your experience with virtual selling been this year? In what ways are customers using virtual site visits more? In selecting properties or in eliminating choices? And I hope you're following that. Do many or any end-to-end sales happen completely virtually? So 2-3 sort of rough questions that I had, and if you can go in that order, Sumit, Sanjay, and Jay. Sumit, you want to start?
Yeah, sure, Sunil. So definitely, this COVID pandemic has brought a lot of changes, globally and everywhere. But two of the prominent changes which affect real estate the most is the way consumers' attitude has changed towards overall home ownership, and the urgency of owning a home. These are some of the two very distinct change in behavior and attitude towards home, which customers have experienced during this past 1.5 years of pandemic. And since they were they wanted to buy a home, they wanted to upgrade, they wanted to move from rental to ownership, but they couldn't move because of restrictions and being staying at home. So they had a lot of time at disposal, and that is where the consumers utilize most of their time in doing a lot of virtual site visits or virtual tours and virtual 3D tools. What has helped customers to do that is to evaluate properties and form a very strong consideration set of whether the property USPs or amenities fits their requirements or not. However, I would still stick to the point that the physical site visit still plays a very important role. Definitely it helps in eliminating the option through virtual site visit that these are surely not in my consideration set. But I know now that out of this 7-8 options, I'm definitely going to shortlist my house hunting to 3 or 4 options. And then the final decision, of course, happens when the physical site visit happens. So I think physical site visit still occupies a very important role in the buying decision process. However, virtual selling process has emerged as one of the very strong supporting tool to aid that decision for both for customers as well as for the promoters to sell their products.
Great. So the first marketeer has given the jury the virtual site visits are great, nice, possibly cute, but physical site visit is a must before the final sale happens. Thanks, Sumit. Sanjay, you want to add your piece, please?
Taking from where Sumit just said that yes, virtual is becoming more and more important, and I think thanks to the pandemic and all those things where each and every consumer was so scared of coming out of the house because that scary stuff had gone into the mind for each one of us. I don't think so anybody in the world can say that I'm not scared of COVID. I think thanks to so much of stuff which has gone into it. But
except Trump,
yes.
perhaps. Is it? Except Trump, perhaps. Is it?
That's why he's not the president anymore. And that is the reason that we had thought of our thinking process to change. And I think perhaps sometimes you have to take the stuff at the right time, at the right place, and all those things. And that is the reason, even when most of the advertisers were scared or were going slow in terms of communicating to the public, we had never stopped our campaigns. The only thing is that we had started immediately with the different campaigns, whether it is called Enough Space or Get into Virtual X and all those things. And we even launched a couple of projects through which was called as virtual launch, which nobody would have even heard of a real estate a client launching a project virtually, because you call upon all the customers to your project, you call upon the channel partners, they have to physically see the project. Because I think today also the time is that it's a big investment. Nobody would like to take apartment just seeing virtually and all those things. They would definitely like to see that what exactly they're buying. By getting into, again, being part of virtual launch, with part of having the entire project being shown by way of a huge experience center and all those things, yes, you are eliminating some of the properties which they would have not thought of going ahead. So instead of 10, they would shortlist 5. And one thing again which happened was, earlier on, a customer who used to take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or even 1 year sometimes to finalize a property, the time to finalize a property has also come down. It is no more 3 months or 4 months. Might be 1 month, 45 days. They are quick. They are acting like they would like to get into a new house tomorrow. And yes, we had never seen our homes, actually, if you look at it, because we leave at 9 o'clock, back home at 8 o'clock, sleep, start packing for the next day. But COVID has forced us to even look at our home, that what exactly we have to do. We should have, if you have a family of 4 people require 4 different rooms. Because if your kids are grown up, especially like mine, everybody wants to be on either on VC, or they would like to be on OTT and all those things. So it's not that people who used to take so much of time in finalizing, they have started taking the decisions fast first. Second thing is, they would like to get into their own homes. So hence, rentals and all those things. I'm not saying that rental will not exist. It will definitely exist. But people have started thinking of getting onto their own homes. And especially, we also feel that there are, yes, it is a fact also, there are a lot of salary cuts and this, that, and all those things. But I think COVID has again taught all of us a lesson. As far as reality is concerned, I think it's a boom for all of us. All of us had grown. And even those guys who used to say that NRIs, there will be a lot of people who will come back to India today, to all these NRIs, which they cannot travel, because you don't know whether if they come to India, whether they will be allowed to go back or not. Because every day there is a change in the communication, or there is a change in the policies and all those things. So if NRI is sitting in US or in Canada or in Dubai and all those things, he can actually see that what exactly he's buying. So all these things have actually added a lot of sales to any of the real estate guys.
Super, Sanjay. Again, helping in shortlisting of projects, the time for purchase has shrunk. That's a sort of another point that you raised, and NRI sales have become easier. And Jay, you want to keep on continuing on the same road?
You know, just like Sanjay ji just mentioned, it's definitely helped speed up the closure rates for a customer. You know, it's funny because recently, I think of late, when a customer comes to a site, he's usually already made up his mind, and he's just going to take the last bit of time to decide between two of his shortlisted projects because he's checked it out. He's checked out how do the sunsets look, what kind of people stay there, what's the pros, what's the cons. So they've already made their decision. They just have to, I think, they come down to make that final look at the house. Also, I think it definitely has helped the NRI market because having this technology, having virtual tours, having everything online definitely gives them a sense of security because they know what they're getting into. Unlike earlier, where it was quite a bad scenario. So now all these factors have really played a major role in quickening the home buying process, and the customer knows exactly what he's going to get, which is why it's a good deal for us. Also, we have a happy customer.
Spoken from the customer side, well done. That it enables him as well. Rajiv Smarjit, I'm going to ask you a question on LMS and CRM, which I'm going to ask you anyways. But if you want to add to your experience on the virtual selling, and then you can continue. On that.
Sunil, there is one point. The learnings comes from the digital space is that how to create something new. I think if you learn from the e-commerce platforms, e-commerce marketplaces, everybody look forward to Prime Day sale because they know that there's something new is going to come in the Prime Day sale. So it's not only the price, it's not only the discount, but something new as a product variant that you get to see on a Prime Day or a Flipkart sale. So that is where the customer, when we want to make a digital more impactful and effective, we have to see that how to segregate digital virtual sales from the offline one. So can I create some novelty that customer come to my digital space? They buy through digital because there may be something that I can segregate as a product level that I'll open only the upper floors on the digital space. I'll not make it available on the offline sale, or something as a new variant. Can I add some furnitures, or can something that I can supplement and give as a novelty factor? So that is what we have seen when we have gone ahead with a new variant or a new thing which is not available offline, then it has done very well on the online digital sales. And that's the experience I have been, from Tata Housing, because we have done a lot of activation digitally, whether it's a GOSF, Google Online Shopping Festival, or a Facebook tie-up, or we did first brand store in Amazon. So those are the places where we have done something different, something new, which is not there offline, then it has really done very well. So that's the point that I wanted to make. We need to think that how to create a differentiation. It can't be same as offline sales. Create a differentiation, create a new category, package it well, then I think that's a medium to be. And the second point is that we need to be in the place where the consumer is as a marketer. And today consumer is there on digital space, whether it's a buying grocery or buying, e-commerce, anything, they all are in the digital space. So we need to see that how to create that experience. I'm coming back to the word experience again, because that is something is critical, whether it's a brand awareness built up or a lead generation, both has to have a thread of experience that we need to give to the customer.
Brilliant, Raji, brilliant. So the whole, how does the product innovation match up to the whole digital medium novelty? Is
yes,
just sort of forsake digital for the sake of digital is not going to take us.
It can't be.
So brilliant, and the experience piece obviously is sort of we are all converts there. Smarjit, I'm going to lay down the question on technology, LMS, CRM, and when I invite you, you can speak on both, on your experience in virtual selling as well as that. Anyone can add to that CRM question. The question was straight in your face that are you satisfied with your LMS lead management system / customer relationship management system in being able to track your marketing spend effectiveness, in being able to change marketing plans on the fly? Have you evaluated AI/ML modeling to bridge revenue gaps? So that sort of cutting edge stuff. And happy to hear your views on the broader point of virtual selling as well.
Okay, I'll go in the chronology and of the order of the question. So the first one is yes. What we have done is, all of us in this sector have been pivoting and figuring out what should be the performance matrix be. So quickly, once the lockdown and all had started, so the parameters with which say our pre-sales and sales team started getting judged is the number of site visits which are being fixed, which are remote site visits. And same applied for site visit for the, so we made some slight changes to our CRM, which brought in this angle of being able to track those remote site visits which were happening. And we have also kind of met with a fair degree of success with people who are purchasing without having to actually visit the sites. It was good that I would say it was providential. We already had kind of invested enough into interactive walkthroughs and all. And there were certain enhancements which were quickly brought about last year to kind of facilitate and make the process more seamless and available online. I also agree with what Sanjay mentioned earlier, that in terms of they not backing down and continuing to spend and being there visible. So that is something which I feel every industry leader should take that stance. And we have a certain number of IPs which we keep going back to on a year-on-year basis. And with the proverbial like the pandemic, and we actually made some slight adjustments. We were the first developer nationally to do a virtual expo, which was only focused on our own project. So we did it during last year's lockdown, and we met with a fair degree of success, and we repeated it 3-4 times over. There was one special NRI edition. So that is something which we did. However, as soon as the lockdown restrictions got eased out, we were the first developers again in Bangalore to have a physical event, because we have an annual event, just like Rajiv spoke about Amazon Prime Day. We have something called Brigade Showcase. So this is the 14th edition of doing it. So irrespective of everything, it is usually conducted in a certain time of the year. We went ahead and did it while we met with maybe about say a 50% impact of what we would have experienced in the previous years. It is important for a market leader to be consistent and being out there, because consumers are also looking forward to you, because you are the beacons, you are the harbingers of the times to come. And if we ourselves back down, then what does it signify for the signal to the overall industry? So online site visits will be there. It has actually made all of our teams a little more tech savvy, because that eventually is going to be the future. And but people, Sumit spoke about that. People do have this thing that I need to visit. Even if an NRI is transacting, he would actually find a local connect to come visit. So that, because the real exists in the sector itself. It's called real estate for a reason. There is a physicality to it. There is a realness to what you're investing into. And so that is there to stay. Coming to the second part of the question, actually, once this lockdown had kind of, everyone was grappling with what is the way forward going to be. So as an organization, we undertook something called DART, which stands for Digital Acceleration and Transformation. And we identified various interfaces where there can be impact of, there is definitely scope for digitizing the process. And then it was categorized in terms of high impact, medium impact, and low impact. And one of those things were actually enhancing our CRM and the ERP software. So, and we undertook that. It took about 7-8 months to kind of actually make it a little more seamless. We had to bring in some a data consultant, a team of data entry operators to look at some of the data interfaces, because we were also kind of looking at how do we kind of minimize the number of pointers or number of interventions which are required manually. Having said that, I have worked on multiple CRM softwares and all. Currently, we are using something which is SAP's. SAP has developed their own CRM called C4C, which I believe some of my colleagues, because I heard someone from Tata, and also they have dabbled with it. SFDC has been the dominant player in this space. I have evaluated, I've actively looked at Anirog's CRM module also, and which your mandate teams are using, and which I think some developers, and everyone has a bit of challenge because a part of that is that not all marketing expenditures are towards lead generating activities. There are, and when you're actually looking at the ROI of the overall piece as a marketer, you're not looking at only performance campaigns. It's equally important that your websites are well maintained, and that cost doesn't feature in any CRM software. Our ERP continues to be on SAP, but we have actually developed something which is homegrown, which gives me all the slices and dices which a data cut would require, because there would be a project specific spend and ROI. There would be something which we call as an umbrella campaign, which cuts across all geographies, cuts across all projects. And there's a third spend category, which we categorize as corporate, which might be my, say, PR expenses or overall branding expenses, or so. But the marketing ROI overall comes down to it as an overall number. And hence we felt that a lot of the existing CRM solutions out there only look at the performance part of it. And hence when you look at, say, digital, there is a separate agency which is handling maybe my ORM. It flows back. It has an impact at some point of time on my business also, but not all of them are actually flowing back. I wouldn't have a placeholder in SFDC or a C4C to categorize my ORM expenses, but it features in my marketing ROIs. So we've built something. I'm sure a lot of my other industry folks who are on this panel would have invested into something else, because that actually gives you a full-fledged visibility when you're looking at a full funnel marketing. It gives you across different categories what is the leakage, what is the spend, what is the throughput in a better way. So I hope I addressed your question, Sunil, on the CRM and ERP.
No, I had got 2-3 sub areas, and you have covered 5. So well done. Easily. Summarizing in 30 seconds again. So looks like it has to be a mix of off the shelf and in-house customized thing, because the needs to include brand here or ORM there. And these are examples, I'm sure, Smarjit, there are multiple stuff which you guys would have built on top of your existing CRM, which you bought off the shelf. So looks like the manufacturers need to work more till they come out with the one sort of holy grail of a system which solves your problems. Great. There are 2 minutes left. I had got a couple of more areas to discuss, but we should stick to the time, as there are 3 more sessions after us. Sukanya, you want to take a crack at 1 minute, and then I'll take a minute to summarize stuff, since you got one chance less than the other guys.
Sure. Thanks, Sunil, for that chance. So I'd just like to summarize by saying that, this is the time to innovate. This is the best time to innovate. And as Anurag said, the pandemic has given us tremendous opportunity. I think I can safely say for all marketers that we were the busiest during the pandemic because of the overnight shift, the way we had to adapt to the so-called new norm. It gave us immense opportunity to innovate, to reinvent, rethink our strategies, and to build a stronger business, to come back with more relevant strategies, which can impact the business positively. There is tremendous scope for us to analyze our campaigns, to track them effectively, to come back with something that the business can actually use to benefit and generate more. As marketers, I think this is also an opportunity to become very close partners with the business, to become advisors in the true sense, because it's no longer about the business coming back with strategies and, marketing just taking it forward. It's about marketing going back to the business and telling the business that, this is where you should invest and this is where we should, park our investments for now. So there is real power that marketers have in today's times. And I think we should really use it effectively to, build a stronger, more powerful, more, visible enterprising brand. So
great. With the permission of the team, if I can take 1 more minute, and we'll spill over to 321. Just to sort of, I had started off with the prologue at the beginning about what happened in the last 5, 10, 20 years, the technological intervention in sales and marketing, from your SMS emails to your 99 acres magic bricks to Facebook, Google, to the next big what, is it chatbot, voice bot, AR, VR, AI, ML, going to shape the things of shape the things to come, is for all marketeers like us to put our heads together and try to solve that. It's a mix of Ogilvy and Kotler, with Facebook and Google sort of floating around. No one is sort of turning around his grave with what things are being done. I think the principles are the same. The medium, the channel, they're different. And I think many of you said it's a customer-driven change which is happening. So thanks a lot again, everyone, for super insights. I hope we managed to add some value to our listeners. Over to you, Dolly, Tripti, Sapna, who was going to take over.
Yes, Sunil, I think you summarized it well, that yes, we have come a long way from how marketing was being done. And, I think what we have, the takeaway from this session, we can say, when we are talking about marketing future roadmap, so it seems like digital marketing is the future for real estate. and probably grooming the thought leadership of the company as the brand ambassadors is what we are going to see. We have few questions from our the viewers. So one question that I'm taking is that there are new guidelines being imposed on social media and OTT platforms. Safari and Mozilla Firefox are implementing restrictions on third-party cookies. Google Chrome also has announced a decision of phasing out the third-party cookies by 2022. So the question they are asking is this going to reduce effectiveness of influencer marketing as it currently stands?
Would anyone?
Sunil, your call, who should take this question?
Yeah, Smarjit is taking it.
You're on mute.
Smarjit, you're on mute.
Hi, so I actually wanted to touch upon this because Sunil earlier spoke about 3 disruptions: RERA, the consolidation of the primary space, and the consolidation of the intermediary space. The 4th avalanche, which is going to hit us, will be the GDPR Act and what we have already, so which stands for General Data Protection and Regulation, which is already in full force in Europe. And while India has kind of imbibed it and taken the gist of it, it is still yet to be enforced in its full avatar. And what it effectively means is once you actually enforce it, you need to take permission from a customer before you can start reaching out to him and bombarding him with communication. And this is something which I think one of the viewers has already aptly put is going to be upon us in a year's time, 2022 end or early 23. So what it does is today, digital is actually on the precipice of becoming a classical model, a classical channel. We've always been thinking of it as print, outdoors, classical, and digital as the new age model. Digital very soon by the end of this year becomes the classical model, wherein unless we are able to figure out a way to reach out to customers, take their consent in a timely manner, it will die out, just like say what has happened to telemarketing or SMS marketing. Today, TRI has imposed so many other restrictions on that. So it actually brings us back to maybe the other avenues which we spoke about. So aggregators and all, which is people actively looking for homes will maybe take up a bigger share. And it actually brings back to the whole content driven part of it, in which case I actually feel that maybe social media influencers and all might grow as a segment instead of reducing in the coming time, because as and when the avenues get shut off today, we are very comfortable. Like if I have a target for a campaign of 100 units, 50 onto digital, into 50, 25,000 becomes the lead target. Once these new norms are imposed, the entire matrix will turn on its head. You will not be able to generate even 5, maybe say 10% of what you might be generating today, because you won't have as many active customers who are willing to be kind of bombarded with all this kind of communication. So it's the 4th disruption, which I still feel will be the biggest one in the coming year or so, will be the imposition, I would say, of the GDPR Act and the enforcing of that.
So I hope the marketers are already gearing up towards this disruption and they have the plans in place. Another one quick question that we can take is, what are the best ways for marketers to reach out to non-tech savvy consumer base, especially in the current times of homebound customers? Digital is one way, but what about non-tech savvy customers?
Yeah, if we can take it. Yeah, I think one of the medium that works well is the SMS. If you want to reach to the non-digital audience, SMS does very well. If you have a good database, and today you can buy database from third-party vendors and agencies. So that allows you to do a lot of reach through SMS blast and also lead generation. That nobody talks about as a marketing plan. It's hidden, but SMS, if you see as a ROI point of view, it gives you very good ROI.
Okay, something
I was going to add,
Rajiv,
I was going to take a crack at voice, WhatsApp, and YouTube because I think everyone and his dog, even in the hinterlands, are sending videos and all that. So possibly adds to SMS.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
That's right. I think that answers the questions. We have not many, but we have time for only these 2. But thanks all our speakers for sharing your views. I think we had some very good takeaways, very great pointers that all our speakers shared with us. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your views and opinions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Sapna. Thank you, Sunil. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Rajiv.
Thank you.
Sumit Chunkare, and thanks, Rajiv. Thanks, Sunil, for that wonderful moderation.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.